There have been a lot of pretty bad DreamWorks movies that have come out over the last decade. It's nice to finally see a movie that had heart, a good story, and great animation. Let's talk about it. The Wild Robot is the newest DreamWorks animated movie. It's based on the book, The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. I have the book and I'll do a separate video about the source material, but for now, let's talk about the movie. The movie's about a robot named Roz that crashes on an island on a lake in the south of France, inhabited by lots of different wildlife. At first, the robot Roz goes around trying to fix problems wherever she goes, and eventually she meets up with a little goose named Brightbill. The two of them form a mother-son bond that drives the plot. There are two things that happened before the movie came out that gave me some hope about its success. First, last year, Migration, the animated movie from Universal Pictures, came out, and it was a pretty bad movie. I walked out of Migration confused about why the movie was made because it had such a bad storyline, and it seemed in every way cheap and hollow. Now, I realize that it was probably an attempt to steal the thunder of Wild Robot before it came out, because there are several similar elements between the two movies. It's kind of like when ants tried to steal A Bug's Life's thunder, but in this case, the Wild Robot does it much better. The second tell to success is that The Wild Robot is one of the few DreamWorks movies that has an original song, and it is pretty fire. Kiss the Sky by Maren Morris is a good song by itself, and it's also a great addition to the movie.
You can find a piece of you that you've been hiding. What if you chase your heart out to the edge? Rewrite your stars and be brave instead. What if you jump? And the falling feels a little like you're flying. Oh my darling, if you try, you just might kiss the sky.
DreamWorks went all in for this movie, and it was pretty obvious. It's not a perfect movie, but it is very good. One thing that the movie does well is it has a consistent theme of caring for others throughout the movie. The evolution of a character being selfish and learning how to be selfless is something it does well. And it does it in several different ways. I mentioned it with Roz and Brightbill, which was established early, but it also showed it with other animals, but especially with Fink the fox, who was voiced by Pedro Pascal. It's actually interesting because Fink is very similar to Nick Wilde from Zootopia. The two have very similar character backgrounds, similar character arcs, but they are both unique and they are great additions to their respective movies. But that's another discussion for another day. Another thing that I really appreciated was that when I watched the movie, there was a family who was really enjoying the movie. They were laughing at every joke and awing at every cute shot. They were the perfect audience members for this movie. But at the end of the movie, when the credits were rolling, they showed one of the characters, and that it was voiced by Mark Hamill. I saw them look at each other, and one said to the other, "I would have never guessed that was Mark Hamill." That was true of several of the characters in this movie. When the characters were talking, I didn't hear the voice actors. I saw the characters that they were supposed to be voicing. This is something that I wish other animated movies would do. There were two obvious exceptions to this, but they were two actors whose voices are so recognizable it would be impossible to change their voices so that no one would recognize them. And they were minor characters anyway. But the best part of the movie wasn't any of those things. It was the animation. The painted style of animation was really a breath of fresh air. The director, Chris Sanders, mentioned that he wanted the end result to look like the extraordinary exploratory paintings that appear in concept art books. To me, he definitely accomplished that. And it's really nice to see a unique approach to animation, especially when so many other things were done well in this movie. Was it perfect? Of course not. There were some narrative missteps. There are more than a few instances of suspension of disbelief, but it had heart, good characters, and unique animation. And the unique animation is best experienced in the theater. I saw it on Screen X, which is my preferred theater. But what did you think? Are you planning on watching The Wild Robots? Or have you already seen it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.